Joining us right now to weigh in from Capitol Hill, Republican Senator Luther Strange of Alabama. Senator, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Great to see you. Thank you very much.
What can you tell us about the bill in the Senate?
Well, I think you described it very well just now from what we know. It's been closely held, as you know, but I think that's a good approach. I think the debate will commence at 9:30 Eastern Time this morning when we actually get a piece of paper to review.
So when you look at your colleague, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, and what he has been saying, what he's going to be unveiling this morning, do you feel that there's more common ground? What's the tone within the Senate right now? We know what has taken place over the last 5 months in terms of this bill within the Senate and the House. Is there common ground? Are you all coming together?
I think we are. I think there is common ground because we're facing a disaster. We can't do nothing. We have an obligation to fix the Obamacare mess. That's the driving force here. There are plenty of opinions in the Senate, but the American people expect us to act, and I think President Trump's exactly right, and that was his promise. We've got to act. We can't just ignore it and let it fail. That would be a real disappointment.
Senator Strange, Mitch Rochelle, along those lines, to get the Democrats on board, does it actually have to fail, though? Because we see state after state, county after county, the insurers just pulling out, which really signals a bit of a failure of Obamacare.
Absolutely. It's failing on the ground right before our eyes. There's no debate about that. But it's very frustrating to see my colleagues on the Democratic side come out with attacks on a bill they haven't even seen yet. They've already written it off. So they've signaled to us that they have no interest in helping us at all. And that's very disappointing. But that's what we've been planning for all along. Our challenge will be to come together and repeal and replace it.
Yeah, Mitch mentions the insurers. I mean, one of the nation's largest insurers, Anthem, said that it is planning to pull out of Obamacare exchanges in 2 more states, that's Wisconsin and Indiana, after being unable to manage the cost of sick patients signing up for the coverage. So there's that. But, you know, putting the Dems aside, sir, the Wall Street Journal today is reporting that there are at least 6 senators that are uncomfortable with what's in the bill. So, I mean, Republican senators.
Well, there's been a long debate. People have dug into positions. Now we're at the end of the road. We have to make choices. I'm new to the Senate, but I can tell you Alabama's been most severely hurt by Obamacare, and I'm interested in conservative principles. That's what I'm going to be looking for in the bill today, and so I'm hopeful and optimistic we're going to come together.
Hey, Senator, this is Don Peebles. I'm a business owner, and this has been an issue since the day it started. Obamacare has driven up our cost of doing business. We do business in 9 cities around the country. Every single one of them, they go up 20, 30, even 40%, and the coverage has dropped. In fact, personally, right now, I'm going to have an operation next Tuesday, and I'm going to have to write a check to my doctor for $24,000. Now, I can afford it, but many of my employees can't. What are you all going to do about these absurd costs, these co-sharing? Because in reality, there's not much insurance. Policies keep going up, and benefits keep declining.
I appreciate you saying that. Obviously, premium increases, high deductibles have been a top priority. What I'm interested in is insurance that actually provides health care, not just an insurance policy that doesn't provide anything. I've been in the same boat where I've had to pay tremendous amounts out of pocket. I'm fortunate that I can afford it, but the average businessman who's trying to do the right thing now has a premium higher than their mortgage. That's just unacceptable, and if we don't address that, then I don't think this bill is going to get widespread support.
Senator Caitlin Huey-Burns here. The CBO score was a big issue of contention on the House side. Are you waiting to hear that score? Will the Senate vote without that? And what would that kind of assessment mean for you in terms of your support?
Well, I'm highly, let's just say, skeptical of the CBO scores based on their record of success or lack thereof in the Obamacare debate. So I'm interested. It's important for us to have it. But I'm going to be more interested to hear from the citizens, the businessmen, owners, and the least able to pay, the most vulnerable in my state, before I make any final decisions.
How are you feeling about tax reform if, in fact, we were to see a vote for health care next week? How are you feeling in terms of the common ground on tax reform and cutting taxes later this year?
I actually think we're on much more common ground on tax reform than we are on health care reform.
Really?
I really do. I think I hear more about that and regulatory reform than I do just about anything. Those are the 3 major items that I hear about from the citizens in my state and their top priorities. That's a big challenge, you know, to come up with tax reform. We want to get it right, not just get it done fast. But there's been a lot of work behind the scenes. That's why I'm glad that we're having this debate come to a head. We've got to vote. We've debated this to death. We need to now come together and come up with a solution.
What do you think is the most important priority for you when it comes to tax reform? In other words, yesterday we had Congressman Peter King on, and he basically said, look, my most important issue here is the elimination of the deduction on a person's mortgage. You know, that's something that I can't agree with in terms of taking away that deduction. Is there something that's a no-go for you in terms of the deductions or a corporate rate? What's your priority on tax reform?
Well, my priority is to simplify the process for the vast majority of the citizens in my state and around the country who want to file without all the complications. And my second overall priority is to make sure that we do everything we can to incentivize investment and growth. Economic development has been the critical factor in my state. It is around the country. And the tax code is not geared at the moment to encourage that. And that's what I'm looking for.
And I guess that means no border adjustment tax from your standpoint.
That would be my position.
All
Absolutely.
Right. Senator, good to have you on the program this morning. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much.
Senator Luther Strange joining us there.